This is most likely the best commander revealed so far in the Avatar: The Last Airbender Magic set. And to be entirely fair, after having looked at the entire set, I actually think this might just be the best commander in the whole set, maybe even CDH viable. Let's talk about it. So Wan Shi Tong Librarian is blue X for a 1/1 legendary creature bird spirit with flash, flying, and vigilance. A lot of keywords. When it enters the battlefield, put X +1/+1 counters on it, then draw half X cards rounded down. Whenever an opponent searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter on Wan Shi Tong and draw a card. I had previously been kind of freaking out about this Katara Waterbending Master card from Jumpstart that I really wanted to build, but I honestly think this one maybe has more promise. I'm gonna break it down in detail, but be sure to hit that follow button if you guys like content like this. I'm always talking about what is new and trending in the world of Magic, and especially all of this Avatar stuff. I'm really excited for this set. So first of all, anecdotally, let's just talk about rate. For a long time, blue 2/1s with flash for 2 were scarce. There wasn't very many of them. They started making more of them. Spectral Adversary. Eventually, they printed Fairy Mastermind, a card that this might actually just be better than. But like the idea of getting a flash flying 2/1 for 2 was just something that didn't exist for a long time, and I think it's because in Commander it's not that effective, and in 1v1 play it was always kind of on the fringes. It's just not something they really liked doing very much. And Wan Shi's a 2/2 without even trying. So now we look at Wan Shi Tong, which most of the time, just to be clear, you're going to cast this card with X being 0. You're going to pay blue to flash in a 1/1 that's going to come down, get a counter on it, and just sit on the battlefield as kind of like a Stax piece. Like if you've ever played with Archivist, that's doing a very similar thing, but of course this card has a lot of upside compared to Archivist. So just on its face, this card's going to come down like we talked about, with 1 counter, and then it's going to sit on the battlefield, and it's going to draw you a card and get 1 bigger every single time your opponent searches their library, which is not limited to 1 instance return, right? They could have done that. A lot of cards will say this ability only triggers once per turn. Even Fairy Mastermind is only going to trigger when an opponent draws their second card in a turn, right? You get 1 trigger in an instance of a turn. You know, this card, if your opponent cracks a fetch land and then plays a tutor, it's going to get 2 bigger. You're going to draw 2 cards. I think one of the things I like the most about this is that when you go down a card playing something like a Chrome Mox or Mox Diamond, maybe like a Gemstone Caverns to get, 2 mana online early, this is a great card that allows you to do that, hold open mana, and then as soon as somebody cracks a fetch land, you flash this thing in and you replace the card that you lost to be able to ramp to 2. I really like that feature just from the jump on this card. There are also situations with like Mana Vault or Soul Ring hands where sometimes you ramp early, but you don't have like a big play, and you just have a bunch of mana, but no way to kind of refill your hand with all of that mana. And so the fact that like a turn 1 Mana Vault means that on turn 3, you get to flash this thing in at 6 mana, where X is 4. It comes down already as a 5/5 flyer, just like a good sized creature that draws you 2 cards. I really like that. If it gets removed, you get to replay it again to draw more cards later in the game. Mono blue is a restriction when it comes to the number of win cons. I was texting with Comedian MTG, and that was kind of his comment, right? You're pretty restricted in mono blue for win cons, but if we're being honest, I think this card just offers so much upside, even at its just 2 mana face value version, that I think it's a real consideration as the best commander and maybe even a CDH commander from this set. What do you think? Let me know below in the comments.